Hello there, 3Ms. Welcome to the eighth lesson in Cycle 3. Today we are going back to trigonometry. We're going to be doing sine law and cosine law. Some of you may have seen this in the past, so it will be a review for you, but others it will not be. So I'll start right from the beginning with it. Okay, so sine law. What in the world is sine law? Well, first, if we have a non-90 degree triangle, we cannot use SOHCAHTOA. Okay, we cannot use sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is opposite over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite of adjacent. So what are we to do with these triangles? Because most triangles, if you encounter a triangle in your life, are probably not going to be exact 90-degree triangles. So first, let's look at non-90-degree triangles. So non-90-degree triangles means that every single angle that you have in the triangle is not 90 degrees. If you have a 90-degree triangle, it means that one of them is. Okay. And this is how we label triangles in general, not just non-90-degree triangles, but let's let's go with this setup for a non-90-degree triangle because that's what we're talking about here. So in triangles, all angles are written in uppercase letters, capital letters. And because there's three of them, we use ABC. The side lengths are written in lowercase letters. And you'll notice that opposite sides and opposite angles have the same letter. So if you have big A here, your angle A, the little a is going to be the side across the triangle from big A. And notice how the B's are across the triangle from each other, and the C's are opposite each other. So that's how we can label a triangle. It does not matter which order you label A, B, C. If you could have this is angle A, B, and C here, it can be D, E, F. It could be eyeball, nose, and ear if you want. It doesn't matter, but this is the general way of labeling triangles in the math world. And you might notice that the largest angle is across from the largest side. So you can see here, this is the biggest angle and also the longest side. And C is the smallest angle and it's across from the smallest side. So that's a really great way of remembering to make sure that you've labeled your triangle correctly. Okay, so how are we going to use this? To use the sine law? Well, the sine law is a specific equation that you're going to use to solve a triangle when you either have two angles and a matching side. So matching just means you have one of these sides across the triangle from one of these angles, okay? And we're going to do some examples. You can also use it you can imagine that you have two sides given and you have one of the angles across from one of those sides. And these are the equations for sine law. It's actually just this equation, but if you want to flip each one of them over, this is also true. So you can do this as well. So what these are, they're ratios, right? So the ratio of the side length of our A side divided by sine of the angle A is equal to the side length of little b divided by the sine of the opposite angle. And this is also equal to little c over sine of big C. Now, when you're using this equation, you're only using two of these. You're not using all three at once because that would be very difficult to solve. So maybe you're either using A and B, maybe you're using A and C, maybe using B and C, okay? So just know you're only using two of these at once. It's just showing you that this ratio, side length over sine of the angle, It's the same for any pair of sides and angle. Now, the reason I've split it into two different equations here is because I like to use this one when you're finding a side, because that means your sides are on the top, right? They're in the numerator, which is easy to solve. When you're finding an angle, you can flip them over and have the angles on the top. Do you have to do that? Absolutely not. If you can just use this equation to find an angle using cross multiplication, that's totally cool. You do not have to set it up like this, but it gives you that option because then you don't have to do as much rearranging here. So I do want you to notice that we are using pairs of sides and angles. With the sine law, you're going to be working with A's and B's or A's and C's. You're not going to have all three, A, B, and C, okay? So let's take a look at these two triangles and let's just figure out what sides and angles are given and then what side or angle can we find. Well, in this one, look, we have angle C, we have angle B, and we have this side. This side is across from angle C, so it is side little c. So we have angle C, side C, and angle B, which means because we have this pair here and we have B, we can find the one that's across from B. So we can find side B. In this one here, what do we have? Well, we have two sides and one angle. Well, we have angle A and we have the side across from angle A, so that's side A. And then we have the side across from angle C, so that's side C. Which means because we have both A's and one C, we can find the other C. So we have angle A and side C, so we can find angle C. So let's actually solve these. And you know what? Once you have this one solved, you can actually find A and little a as well. Because if I asked you to do that, how could you find angle A? Well, don't forget that the sum of the angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So if you do 180 minus 70 minus 30, that would give you the angle here, and then you could find side A as well. That's going that extra step. So let's solve these triangles as is first. So this first one here, so first we're going to set up our equation. We are using C's and B's. So, and because I'm finding the side, the B, I'm going to use the equation where the sides are on top. So I have little b over sine B equals little c over sine C. So that's our first step, is to pick the right equation. Now the next step is to plug in all the numbers we have. Well, we have B, which is 70, we have big C, which is 30, and we have little c, which is 5. So let's plug those into the equation. Oh, I didn't realize I was going to do that first. I rearranged the equation to solve for B first. So remember to get rid of this sine B, because we're dividing by sine B, we have to multiply by sine B to get rid of it. So little b is going to be equal to little c times sine B divided by sine C. Now we're going to put our numbers into it. Yes, you can absolutely do it the other way that I was going to say. You can put your numbers in here and then do the getting rid of this denominator number. So little b is equal to 5 times sine of 70, and then you're going to divide that by sine of 30, and you should get 9.4. So it might be a good idea to pause the video here, put those numbers into your calculator, and make sure that you get the correct answer. And don't forget the units, right? If there's a unit on the length here, you also need to use units on your answer. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here. So this one we're working with A's and C's. So, and I want to find my angle. So that means I'm going to put my sines on the top. So sine C over little c is going to be equal to sine A over little a. So I assume I'm going to rearrange this equation. Yeah, so to get rid of this little c, I have to multiply both sides to get rid of it on this side. So sine c is equal to little c times sine A divided by little a. So let's plug our numbers in. So 2 times sine of 85 divided by 4.5 is 0.44. Now remember, this doesn't give us the final answer. We have to convert it to an angle, and that's where we have to use our inverse. Remember the inverse button on our calculator. So the angle C is equal to the inverse sine of 0.44, which is 26 degrees. So again, I highly suggest you pause the video here, put these numbers in, make sure you get 0.44, and then take the inverse sine to make sure you get 26 degrees, just to make sure that you are getting the correct answers, as you can check it with mine here. Okay, so here is some practice questions for you to do. I would pause the video here. Make sure you can figure out which letter you're going to be solving for in each of these three triangles, and then do the math and see if you can get the correct answer. So this one, you have both A's, you have one C, so that means you're going to find little c. This triangle, we have both A's, we have little c, so you're going to find big C. That's just like what we did in the last slide, right? And this one, oh, I guess if this is A and B, that means this is side C, right? So I have both C's, one A, so the little a, so I need to find big A. Okay, so pause the video here, give these a try, and then I'll show you the answers next. Okay, welcome back, because I know you paused the video and tried these out to solve them. The answers you should have got was side C would be 6 centimeters, angle C here is 55, and angle A here is 49. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. What I want you to do for practice, you're going to go to day 16 of cycle 3 practice. I realize that doesn't match with our lesson 8 number because remember we've had to reduce some of the lessons in this cycle, so they're kind of all messed up. So go to day 16 of cycle 3 practice booklet and their answers provided in there. Once you feel comfortable with that, you can go ahead and do 3.8 quiz on Brightspace. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions, please let me know using the envelope icon in the top right-hand corner of Brightspace. Next time, we are going to be doing cosine law. Bye-bye.